So heaps of examples here. We're going to be looking at triangles and figuring out whether they are congruent or not. So here's our first example. Now, how am I going to figure out whether this is congruent? Start matching things up. So we can see that this side is equal to this side. So we can say that side AB is equal to side ED. All right, because of that little dash there. We can say that side FD is equal to side BC. And finally, we can say that side EF is equal to side AC. Now, what does all that mean? That means that these two triangles are congruent. We can say that triangle DFE. This next bit is tricky, right? I'll get rid of this bit because I want to talk us through it. Triangle. Now D matches up with side 1, side 2. Side 1, side 2. D matches up with B here. Alright, what about F? F is between the 2 and the 3 side. So between the 2 and the 3 side, that's C. Oops, can't see. And then the last one, of course, is A. So we say the triangle DFE is congruent to triangle BCA. Of course, I nearly forgot the most important part is to tell me why. And the reason why is the side rule for congruence. What about these two triangles? Well, don't try to think about what rule, just start working and see what happens. Okay, so I can see that this length here, NL, is equal to side CB. I can also see that this side here, AB, is congruent to ML. AB, or equal to ML. And finally, I have this angle here. Angle ABC is equal to, and make sure you're doing things in the right order here, angle MLN. Okay, so what do I have? I have a side, and an included angle. That means that our triangle, let's call it ABC, is congruent to, now triangle MLN. Again, matching up your things. And the reason for that is SAS, side angle side, the included angle there. Now, how can we figure out that these are congruent? Well, let's take a look. We can use a shortcut here, and we can say that angle B is equal to angle H. We can say that angle K is equal to angle C. And finally, we can say that length AB is equal to length JH. So I've got two angles and a side. That's certainly going to be enough information. Do things in the right order here. We can say that triangle HKJ is congruent to triangle HK, so single, double, okay, BCA. Triangle BCA, and the reason for that is AAS, two angles and one side. And finally, I can finish this off here. I can say that angle C equals angle Z, and they are both right angles. I can say that YX equals AB, and I can say that ZX equals AC. Altogether, I have a hypotenuse here, I have an angle, a right angle, and I have a side, RHS. So RHS is going to be my reason, and the triangles are going to be congruent. I'm going to do this a different way this time. Right angle, Z, matches up with right angle, C. A is on the end of the 201, so X is on the end of the 201, so X and A. And what's left over is Y and B. Okay, those are 4 examples of the 4 tests of congruence in action. Now I do want to show you two more examples of this kind of thing in action because I want to formalize it just a little more. So this is the full working for proving that these two triangles are congruent. You can see that we do the same thing, we just say that AB equals DF. But we put this thing in brackets here, given. We're told that. You can see that we're told AB and DF. We're told by that little line right there. Same here, angle ABC is equal to angle DEF, and we're told that because they're drawn in with that little line there. And we're also told BCE equals FE, and we're given that. So SAS. You can see that each line has a reason that it would be true. Now, you might be looking at this going, what's all this? Why? Given, given, given. Like, that's annoying. The next example won't have every one of them given like that. Here we have two triangles. Now, let's launch into it. You can see that we have a 7 here and a 7 here. So we get a given. We get told that MO is equal to PO. And the reason? Because we're told. Because they're both 7. That's given information. Now, after that, we get a little bit stuck, right? Because I can't see any other angles there. I see a 5 here and a 6.5 here, but I don't see any number here. And this is just X, an unknown. So I'm going to have to dig a little deeper here. And the trick is that these are parallel lines. Alright, so parallel lines. And then let's do this NQ like this. NQ like this. So now it should become obvious that using our alternate angles theorem, that this angle here is equal to this angle here. Let's do that with a little dash here. So I can say that angle MNO is equal to angle PQO, and the reason is not given. The reason is alternate angles. And if you're stepping a little bit ahead, you might see that we can do this a second time because we have this second transversal here. And this angle here is going to be equal to this angle here for the same reason. Angle NMO is going to be equal, NMO is going to be equal to QPO because of alternate angles. And finally, I have enough information here. I know two angles, I know one side, so I need to be careful. I need to make sure that I match up my angles appropriately. I can say that triangle ONM is equal to triangle, or sorry, is congruent to, 3 lines, is congruent to OQP, and the reason is AAS. Now, of course, they didn't stop there because they also says find the value of x. So let's do some work here. We know that this line matches up with this line, right? Because ONM, OQP, the order ON matches up with OQ. We can see that here. So that means that that's going to be 5. That means that this one, NM matches up with QP. So X equals QP, which equals 6.5. So not only did we do a nice formal proof using alternate angles, but we've also been able to find this unknown because we know those two triangles are congruent. Okay, lots of examples there. Time for you to get started.